Welcome to the second season of the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. I am so excited that you are even listening and watching right now. The first season was amazing. This season is going to be even better. So, welcome back to another season of the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Today, just because you're special, I have a very special guest. You will never guess who. It is Mr. HR. So this is the Ask Mrs. HR podcast where we talk about everything, human resources, humans, the resources humans can use. And so today we're going to meet Mr. HR, my better half, my yin to my yang or yang to my yin. I don't know. You all tell me which part he is, the yin or the yang. So welcome, Norman Thatch. Welcome to the podcast. Hey.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here and also nervous to be here.
Okay. So why are you nervous, Mr. HR?
I don't know. It's just sitting here and watching you do what you do.
I was thinking it's because I look so good, my hair,
that is
everything. I'm just so cute.
Yeah, just mesmerize me.
Mesmerized like this when I go like this.
Yeah, when you bat your eyes, all that stuff.
Well, I'm so happy to have you. Seriously, I have been doing this podcast. We had 10 episodes in season 1.
Right.
And now you get to kick off season 2. I think how you feel privileged?
I feel excited. I feel like, okay.
Yay.
First one, huh?
First one, season 2.
Okay.
It's going to be
First male?
No, you weren't the first man.
Okay.
Octavius, my amazing executive producer, was the first guy on the first male, identifying as a male person.
Right. Okay. Got it.
I don't know. Maybe some of the women I had might be identifying as men. We'll talk about that later. But no, Octavius was the first. And please watch that episode because it was beautiful. He was vulnerable. He was sharing his experiences. And that's really what the podcast is about. So that people who watch this podcast can walk away with something new, an aha moment, feeling encouraged, looking at us with our life experience and saying, oh, okay, if these people could do it, I could do it. And so that's what we are all about today. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay. So you said you were nervous.
Mm-hmm.
However, I was talking about your experience during the break where a few months ago you jumped out of a plane.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So basically my son, Chris Thatch, Black, he decided that he wanted to do a bachelor party. And so his bachelor party was a bunch of his friends, and he brought his dad and his son along to jump out of a plane. And we was about 18,000 feet high. And it was a very experiencing thing. The greatest thing about it was just being able to see the clouds below your feet. So you know how you have a those slings the parents have with the for their kids,
Baby slings.
Baby slings. Well, imagine that, and your kid is kind of taller, has long legs.
Okay.
So that's exactly what that looked like.
So the man was in front of you like a baby.
I was in front of the man.
Oh, so you were in front of the...
Just like in the sling.
Okay.
Now, mind you, my partner, I was taller than him.
Oh, okay.
So in the beginning, especially once the parachute opens, that's when you're like really dangling. But in the beginning, you literally have options of flipping out the plane.
Oh, okay.
Or actually jumping out the plane. I only jumped out the plane because it was just, it was just too much. 18,000 feet. I don't know. Yeah. The wind is blowing. You literally jump out this plane. My youngest son, Anthony, his guy actually flipped him out the plane. And then they give you this signal where they'll tap you on your shoulder 3 times, and you're supposed to put your head back and open your arms and stuff like that. Well, guess what? I forgot that.
Okay.
I forgot that, and next thing I know, he's tapping me on my shoulder, and I'm like, why is he tapping on my shoulder? And I'm trying to figure out why he's still tapping me on my shoulder. And then it caught me. It dawned to me, because they tell you these things. They give you what you're going to do before you get even in the plane. And so sure enough, he's tapped me on my shoulder 3 times. So about the 3rd time, I finally figure out what I'm supposed to do. But by that time, we were getting ready to open the chute.
Okay.
But I watched both of my sons. They flew down. I mean, they were amazing. Me, I was holding on for their life like that little kid that's in the sling.
Okay.
But it seemed like, I don't know if we got stuck or something, because we were up there a little longer than the rest of them.
Maybe because you weren't listening when he was tapping you.
That could be it. That could have been it.
I'm just kidding.
I couldn't get that whole. I could not get that whole tap on the shoulder.
Good. I mean, I would have been screaming the whole time. I would not have been paying attention to somebody tapping me.
And it's crazy because you'll jump out, right? And it feels like you're just gonna fall down. But then actually you don't fall down. You kind of float.
Okay, because that was my first question too. What is it like when you get close to the ground?
Well, when you get close to the ground, that's different, because now the chute is already open, and now you're maneuvering it to allow yourself to glide and land it.
Okay.
But the really interesting part is when you jump out, and you're thinking that you're just gonna go down, but you actually stay
in the
level.
Air.
Yeah, you stay gravitated.
You float in the air.
Yeah, you're floating in the air, because there's 2 chutes. There's the little small one, which allows you to gravitate. And that's where you can spin around, all those things you can do. Once you put your hands back and your head back, you got to put your head back, because when you first go out, your whole mouth, it's like your lips.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, your lips get bigger.
Oh,
and it's like they're flapping all around, like it's just crazy, like wings. Your lips become wings and stuff. That's how impact.
Like that. Okay.
Yeah. So that was one part. But then
So did you think you were gonna die?
It dawned on me a little bit.
Okay, because that's what I would have been thinking. I'm about to die.
Yeah, it dawned.
But you
on
didn't.
Me
but you went through that though, right?
I got through it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was able to. And I actually would do it again if there was an opportunity. But I'm not just going to say, hey, let's go parachute. Skydiving. I'm not going to say that. But if somebody decide, hey, we're going to do skydiving, you want to do it? I probably would go again.
Okay.
Because it'll be a different experience. Because that one was like really nervous. You just like, okay, am I going to, and they make you sign all these papers.
Okay.
Sign your life
of papers?
Away. There's all types of policies and things that you have to know. Actually, they literally have you look at a film that tells you, if you do this, it's a possibility you might die. They literally tell you that.
Yeah.
And then you have to sign your name away.
Yeah.
And it was challenging, because I was telling my son that your father's been, fighting for his rights for many years, and now you want him to sign his rights away, and that's exactly what you would be doing.
Oh, wow.
But
so what was one of your biggest takeaways from this experience?
Just being, like I said, being gravitated in the air, and realizing that you don't just fall automatically.
Okay.
Gravity doesn't just pull you down. Maybe it was because of the small chute first, but it just didn't. It wasn't the same as you would think.
What was it like pushing through the fear?
Pushing through the fear was amazing. It was exciting. It was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Oh. What does your tattoo say on your arm?
Faith over fear.
Oh, that's what it says?
Yes, that's what it says.
Why
faith
you get a
over
tattoo
fear?
that say faith over fear? What's that about?
Because I feel like this helps me to remind me that I can have faith over fear.
Okay. So, did you think about that when you jumped out the plane?
I went like this.
Did you think about that when you got on this podcast?
I didn't think about it, but here, let me do it now. Here you go.
That's funny. So how long have we known each other?
Now you really put me on the spot.
That's okay. I think you know the answer.
So it's been about 35 years.
35 years? I don't think so. You think 35?
33.
How old?
Totally.
How old were you when you first met me?
I don't remember.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Try.
I don't remember. When I first met you?
Yes.
Are you talking about when we were and I was in elementary?
There you go. You're getting warm.
Oh, so you talking about go back.
When did you first meet me?
I met you when I was in elementary school.
Woo! Okay. My goodness. And where did we meet, Norman?
We met.
Norm.
So I used to have birthday parties at my house when I was in elementary. I used to have a birthday party at my house every year.
Okay.
From, I would say maybe I was 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
And your cousin used to,
My cousin
your
Lisa.
cousin Lisa lived next door to me.
Yeah.
And so she was always invited to the party. And I think you used to come with her to the party.
Yes, I was there.
And you
Okay.
would be
So we've
there.
known each other since I was about 7 years old.
Okay.
And we've been married for be 28 years this year.
Okay.
But we dated before that. And we have 3 children and a grandson who's 15. What's up, Jaden?
What's up, Jaden?
He likes grandfather, so he'll watch this to see grandfather. He may never watch this podcast,
That's
but
not
he
true.
will watch it to see his grandfather. So he's like, oh my goodness, grandfather's on YouTube. So that's going to be exciting for Jaden to see you on YouTube.
Yeah.
So now what are you up to? I mean, we live in the same house, but I'm busy because I'm doing a podcast. So what are you doing?
So what am I doing? What am I not doing?
Okay.
So just a long story short, I've actually been really looking into what this whole network marketing thing is all about.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I've learned from Eric Worre, GoPro, that's a book that he wrote. And he says that you have to embrace network marketing.
Okay.
And so embracing network marketing, because a lot of people tend to look at it as one of those things, looks at it as, you doing that or all these things. But if you really investigate it just the way that you would your career, like whatever your career path was, you didn't just say, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor. No, you had to go to school.
That's right.
You had to learn about what it takes to be a doctor, what it takes. There's all types of learning. And so for me, I feel like by learning, from Eric Worre, this GoPro book, it helps you to understand what really network marketing is and how to embrace it and things like that. So saying that, I do, I'm a health coach. I also, we have our own nonprofit organization. We have 40
Time to Dream Foundation.
Yeah, Time to Dream Foundation.
That's
we have
right.
a whole bunch of things, but then we also have our own travel business. And so these are the things that I have learned from network marketing, because you should have multiple streams of income.
Yes.
Basically. And so that's
I think
something
that's biblical.
Multiple streams of income is biblical?
I think so. I'm sure it's in the Bible somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so that said, it's like, and the funny thing is because, back in May 2024, I got laid off from a job that I was working, 11 and a half years. And that just made me feel like, wow. So I was told to go to school. I was told to get a good education and then, find a job that's going to allow me to work until they retire me. Well, that's not happening. And it's not happening in a lot of places. It's
not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. And so those are the things that I feel like, not wanting to allow a company to have control over my finance in that way, and that's exactly what because basically they, you start working for them, and they pay you, and now you can buy a house.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you can have kids. You can do all those things, but then
Right.
soon as they don't need you anymore, or they feel like you're obsolete in the whatever space that you're in, they will say, "Here, we're finished. Thank you for your hard work," and things like that.
Yeah.
And so doing that just made me decide to really look into the network marketing and just being able to understand it better. The goods and the bad from it, the negative and the positive from it, all those things. And so I was doing a health coach, which started because back in 2020, I tore my meniscus, and your cousin introduced me to a company. And so by me tearing my meniscus, that was back in 2020 when we were actually training, both of us was training for 5K in Hawaii.
Right.
But guess what?
What? COVID. Right. But I
COVID
still
happened.
I ran a marathon.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you
did.
very much.
You did, but I couldn't run because I ended up tearing my meniscus.
It took me 4
practicing.
days to run the marathon, but I ran it.
Yeah, so end up tearing my
4-day
meniscus,
marathon.
and basically when I tore my meniscus, I was already working out.
Okay.
I was working out at my company that I was working for. They had a campus and they had a full gym. So lunchtime, instead of eating lunch, I eat lunch at my desk. Went over to the gym, worked out for a good hour, come back and keep working. So when that happened, and then the pandemic happened, I was going to be stuck in the house. And so I had to figure out some things, you know what I mean? Because I couldn't work out anymore. I couldn't learn, I couldn't do anything that I was doing before the pandemic. And so that's when I learned about Optavia.
Okay.
And Optavia is a health company that allows you to be able to lose weight.
Okay.
By eating, 5 meals, small meals a day. And so I jumped on that. You and I both, actually.
Yeah, I lost 15 pounds.
You lost 15 pounds.
Yeah, but I think I gained
before we did that, we did plant-based.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
so now we're pescatarians.
Right now we're pescatarians. And so
okay, thank you for reminding
one of the things that I've
wait
always...
a minute, sorry. Pescatarians mean you only eat fish. People,
That's right.
Not everybody
true.
knows what pescatarian is. Okay, thank you.
Right. And so, I end up losing about 15 pounds on Optavia. And when it was time for me to go and have my surgery, because I lost that weight, they didn't have to replace my meniscus.
Yeah.
It kind of healed itself.
Oh, okay.
Holy Spirit as well.
Okay, amen.
Yes, healed it. And so all I had to do was do a cleanup.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
I was actually, seriously, it was very miraculous because he went in for the surgery and they were like, there's nothing there. It's just, so we just cleaned up the area.
Yeah.
And you were still asleep. You were still like under anesthesia.
Right.
And I'm like, there's nothing there. What?
So basically what it is.
Maybe he made this up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Basically what it is was arthritis. They had to clean the arthritis out. And it's crazy because we were talking about skydiving and stuff like that. When you look at the scope of your knee, it looks like clouds.
Oh, interesting. That's deep.
Inside, it looks like clouds. It literally looks like clouds inside there. And so they replaced it. But what was amazing is after that, it just really helped me to look at how, my eating habits and things like that, and learned a lot from it. But then on top of that, I also was diagnosed with cardiovascular disease. And so basically what that is like and especially Black men, I want to let you know that if you are eating food and you think you have heartburn, it's not always heartburn. Basically what's happening is the your arteries get clogged, and so there's no air going to your heart for oxygen, And so that causes you to feel like it feels like your chest is caving in, or you feel like you have or you're having a small heart attack because the air is not flowing properly to your heart. And that's one of the things that I really learned about, because I had to do a stress test, which I passed.
Yes. Oh.
I passed that. And they wanted to put me on all types of medicine and things like that. And I was like, not happening.
Yeah.
I just changed my diet. We became pescatarians. I implemented what I learned from Optavia, where they had food for us to actually eat. And I made my own food, making sure I still eat the 6 meals a day.
Okay.
And so I've been able to stay at my weight for since 2020.
Yes.
And here it is, 2025. So 5 years, I've been able to maintain my weight since then.
Oh, right.
Not
Good
only
job.
that, but also because of the fact that, I had that arthritis cleanup and stuff, it allowed me to start running again.
That's right.
And I actually been running for Black Men's Run LA. Black Men's Runs LA.
Yes.
And we down on Crenshaw. Great guys, get to be able to run with them every Saturday. And when I run with them, we run 5, 10, 8 miles, every Saturday. But then
5, 10, 8 miles. Wait, 5, 8 to
5
10
or
miles.
8 or 10 depends on what.
And you're talking, I hear. You're
and
running
we're talking.
and talking.
Yes, we're running
8
and
for
talking.
8 miles. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And these guys are really into running. They run different marathons. We had about 10 or 15 guys that ran the LA marathon this past couple of weeks ago. And we're actually all getting ready to run the rock and roll
San Diego. I'll be
down
there
in San Diego.
walking.
And that'll be my first half marathon.
Oh, wow.
I'm not doing the 23. I'm only doing the 16. So
Awesome.
that'll be my first, but I'm excited about that because it's like I've been able to learn a lot from them guys. And I think I might have said that.
Well, the fact
13
that
miles.
you are so active, and you've reinvented yourself, I'm just extremely proud of you. I remember when we first moved to LA, one of the first things I did was the Hollywood 5K. And I remember trying to get you to do it with me. You're like, my knee and this and that. And I think at that time, you thought you would never run again.
I really did, because
I know.
the thing is like, it was getting so bad. I remember, because I used to play flag football in South Carolina. I don't think I played here in California, but South Carolina and New Jersey, I used to play flag football a lot. And it was just so painful, after playing on the weekend and then having to ice your knees all the time and things like that. And even when I remember, like, when I sit in chairs and things, like, if I'm sitting like this, I have to put my leg out all the time. Now I can actually sit with my knees, with my legs, my knees up and stuff like that. And so, it was very, and I was kind of afraid of that, because it just was so much pain that I didn't want. You get to a point where you don't want to recover yourself, if that makes sense. So you know how if you walk or you hurt your back or something like that, or you're doing something sports wise.
Re-injure yourself.
Yeah, you're doing something sports wise, and it takes a lot. You look at the basketball players; they have to ice their knees. They have to get in ice baths and things like that. When you as you're getting older, especially because this isn't something you're doing as a profession, or it's not something you're doing to get paid, you decide that, you know what, I can't.
You're just gonna sit it out.
Yeah, you gotta tap out.
So what do you have to say to people who saying they're gonna sit it out, and now they're turning 40, 50, and they say, that's it, I'm just gonna coast. What do you have to say? What advice do you give people?
I would say the advice that I would give you is, if this is something that you like to do, don't stop doing it. Figure out what I've learned, especially with our joints and things like that. The extra weight that we have on our body, that's what causes us to have those joints and pains and things like that. And with technology and just how you can learn how to recover and faster now, ice baths are really cool. I mean, I don't take an ice bath, but I do take a warm or a cool warm bath.
Do ice. Okay.
Yeah, so things like that, because it allows your muscles to recover faster. And then you could also, what I've also learned is we have two types of amino acids. We have non-essential and essential amino acids. The essential amino acid is something that you can come from your food.
Okay.
Non-essential is the ones that you have to, it doesn't get produced from your food. So you have to figure out some way to have some type of muscle recovery or muscle synthesis protein.
Okay.
So all those things you can, look into amino acid, things like that to see where, and if you reach out to me, I know exactly where.
How can somebody reach out to you? How about that? Because
so you can reach me at my email address is time2changeyourstory.
Okay.
So time, the number 2, change.
Now, don't you have a website?
I also have a website called time2changeyourstory.com. And there you'll see different meals and things like that. And you also have opportunity to look at some of the exercises that I do.
Okay. Who helped you build that website?
My wonderful, intelligent, beautiful, just amazing wife and her.
You can keep going. That's good.
And her secretary.
Oh, I do not have a secretary.
Her assistant.
I have an operations coordinator.
Excuse me, operations coordinator.
Yeah, Maisha.
Maisha, she's amazing. Hi, Maisha.
Yeah, she doesn't watch. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. But,
she helps though. No, she watches.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about being married?
My favorite part is
help them people who say, I ain't never get married. I don't want to be married.
Find somebody cool like my wife. My wife is really cool. She likes to have fun. And she is an amazing worker. She will outwork anybody, any day, anytime.
Oh,
I don't care
goodness.
what you may think you can outwork her. You cannot. And you know why I say that? Because I see the energized bunny just running around in the house, just going and there. But one thing I will tell you is when she hit that bed.
Yes, everybody knows.
When she hit
Don't
that
call
bed,
me after 9 o'clock.
That's it. Once she hit that bed, she's done.
9 o'clock is
the
a wrap.
whole time from 5 o'clock a.m. until she hit that bed, energized bunny. Yes. So
I like to think that's how we were created. Sun up to sundown.
Okay, well, if that's what you want to call it. Some of us want to take naps.
I believe in naps. I believe naps are very important. Naps, I talk about that in my book, The Diversity Dilemma, that naps are a form of resistance. Rest is resistance. And I mean, when I'm tired, I stop. I do rest when I'm tired. Yeah, I mean, I literally have fell asleep. I go outside and I love the backyard by the pool. And I'll sit in the chair and I'll be asleep for like a half an hour. I'm like, oh my goodness, I fell asleep outside.
Yep.
So I do that. And so
you fall asleep. She falls asleep. Action-packed movies.
Oh yeah, I fall asleep at the movie theater. Fall asleep at action-packed. Hey, you got to get in where you fit in.
That's it.
With the sleep.
So
Norman, you mentioned that sometimes you see me and I'm around the house and I'm busy and I'm like one of the hardest working people However, I'm always working. I know for a fact I'm a workaholic. How does that impact you?
Well, it impacts me because it makes me have to step up my game. When you're busy like that, it's important to try to pick up the pieces or try to pick up things and things like that. And so I cook dinner, I clean, I do all those things just and so, because it's not like you're out partying. You're actually trying to build a legacy for our family. And I understand that. And so as a husband, it's important to support your wife or your spouse, and so that you really they can continue to feel, they can continue to do their craft. They can continue to have their craft.
Let's keep it real. Do you ever feel lonely?
I feel lonely. Yes.
I'm like, what it was?
Yes, okay. I feel lonely. I feel
okay.
I feel not seen sometimes.
Okay.
I feel like, man, what am I doing? What should I be doing at these times? What, am I doing enough and things like that? I feel like I need to find my niche and so that I can be busy as well. So all those things go through your mind at times because you're seeing your spouse doing all these things, and then you want to, especially if you're a person who doesn't want to be not independent, but a person who doesn't want to be a bother or
a burden,
a deadbeat or anything like that. If you don't have that goal, you know what I mean, as a husband, it can be challenging. So you got to find your own space. So,
okay. Well, is there any way I can help you with that?
You already do.
Okay.
You my biggest coach.
Okay.
I don't listen to you though.
No.
I don't.
So I'm glad it's here for the record.
Yeah.
So when you lost your job in May of 2024, what was that experience like for you?
Now it took me to a dark place. It really did, because I was so used to being a provider. Okay. I was so used to having my own, I would say my own identity, my own craft as far as what I like to do and things like that. And so being unemployed, I had to really dig into my spiritual side. I had to dig into for God to help me to see that I am valued. I am important. I am, because what I was hearing was negative things going through my mind. You're no good. You're a deadbeat. You're a reject. You're all these things. So I had to turn that volume down and turn up the spiritual volume of God, saying that I'm valued. I'm loved. I'm important. All those things, because when you lose your job, that's what you were doing, I said, for 11 and a half years. So that was a consistent thing that happened that was interrupted. And so now you have to find that consistent thing again.
There's also a level of mourning.
Yes, so, you have to grieve. You have to grieve. You have to mourn. You have to, even if you need to not at somebody, but, punch a wall, whatever it takes for you to get past it, because you need to do those things and so that you can get past it, because if you don't, it's going to take you out slowly.
One of the things I see in my work as an HR person is people who can't separate their identity from their job. So typically when I'm coaching someone, like with career coaching or in HR, I help them with something that I had to learn, because when I was separated from my job, when we first moved here, I realized that it was so easy for that to be my identity, especially working in entertainment. Sometimes it's like, oh, you're the person who worked for this, entertainment company, and people don't know your name. They just kind of know that you work for an entertainment company. But I love what you said about, how God sees us. God doesn't see us as the person who worked for an entertainment company, right? They see God sees our heart. So thank you for sharing that. That was really amazing.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because it's something that really I had to really dig into to understand, because you also can go spiral down to the point where you say, oh, well, you have this, amazing wife who's making amazing money. And so now you could easily go to, well, she's doing that, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that means nothing. So you got to be careful that you don't go that way also, because you can go that way.
Yes.
You can go like, I'm just going to play golf, you know what I mean? Every day, things like that. And so you have to be careful and find your own space, find your own identity in the sense of, what do you want to do? It's crazy, because as we talk about that, I'm working for, at a school now, something that I've never thought of. Well, actually I did think about it, because I always thought about coaching,
right?
Football. and so or track. And so, but now God has opened this door for me to be at a school, Pasadena High School, and it's allowing me to be able to help one-on-one student being a school aide, so to speak. So basically, I'm going around in their with them in all their classes, and making sure that they do their work.
Wow. So you're still a coach. You coach
I'm still
students.
a coach.
You coach people who have health issues or want to improve their health. And so it sounds like you're on your journey to find your own purpose, which is to be a coach.
That's it.
And coach people and help others.
Right. And I wouldn't have gotten there, like you said, if I didn't dig into my spiritual side and trusting God in the sense of this is his will, not mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But accepting that this is his will, being faithful enough to say, okay, this is what God wants me to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it until he's ready to take me out.
I feel like a lot of times God has to push us out the window because you won't walk out the door.
That's a good way.
And honestly, most of the people I talk to, my job is, well, I don't know. That just name a complaint. But I tell them, including myself, I had to tell myself, God is trying to set you up for something bigger. But you won't leave the job that you need to leave. It's all the signs are there. So eventually you get kicked out the window, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage the viewers, for those who are having really hard times at their job and they don't know what's going on. I hope what you shared, I hope that encourages the audience. Like, it's okay. You're being set up for your, what they say, your setback is a setup for your comeback.
Yeah. There's something that there's a devotional I've been reading about how God is preparing you for your next journey.
Always.
And I feel like that's exactly what's happening. This is only temporary. And I feel also like he's also saying, okay, you say you want to be a health coach. You say you want to do travel. Well, let's do that.
Right.
Let's do it. You know what I mean?
That's
Let's do it. And for now, I'm going to put you here. But if that's what you want to do, then let's do that. And so it's like trusting God in that sense, understanding that he's preparing you for your next journey. And so
beautiful. Well said.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what do you want our audience to know about Norman Thatch, owner of Time to Change Your Story?
So what I want people to know is if you work with me, I definitely can help you to live, not just lose weight. I'm not about helping people lose weight. I'm showing people how to have a healthy lifestyle. That's my main goal. And then also, if you also think about, wanting to travel, things like that, I also can help you book your travel. And also, if you really want to know about travel, I can actually help you have your travel, own your own travel business.
I love that. I love that. So is that where you got the name Time to Change Your Story? Because it seems like this whole episode was about you changing how you changed your story.
Yes.
So tell me more about Time to Change Your Story and what's next for you in your story.
So Time to Change Your Story came about simpler, like you said. It came about where I got tired of having a story of, I can't do this. As you mentioned, wanting to, not able to run or exercise like I used to and things like that. But also understanding that once you start, I'm 57 years old. Okay. And so I don't care how, when you turn 57, your body is completely changed. Some people are able to cope with the extra weight, but you probably do much better without the weight. So all my brothers out there, y'all with them stomachs and things like that, I'm not judging or anything like that. I'm saying that
he called y'all out.
I'm saying that
he called you out.
you 57 years old, and man, I cannot function. I can't function with that extra weight. And that's one of the things that I learned.
Men with large, we tell the truth on the Ask Mrs. HR podcast, and we talked about this on our episode with Dr. EB and Dr. Carla. the reality is when you are obese and you have certain health issues. I mean, men with larger stomachs have a larger, and this is Google it, have a larger opportunity or chance to have a heart attack. That is a known fact. So
Yeah.
no
So
judging, just trying to save your life. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like that Russian roulette thing.
Yeah.
You spinning that each year, you're just spinning that marble and hoping that marble don't land to where my wife says you end up having a heart attack or even death.
Yes.
But we're seeing it a lot. I mean, the pandemic was a prime example of why we should start really looking at our health.
Yeah.
Because what was affected? The people who had those small,
Low immune systems,
but also borderline health issues. They had those health issues. Praise God, I had never had COVID the entire time. I never had COVID the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's things like that that makes me feel like we're setting ourselves up because, and that's when I came up with Time to Change Your Story, because I want to change people's story. I want people to have a story of, oh yeah, I was overweight, but then I was able to get in touch with Norman and lose, and we end up losing weight. But not only are we losing weight, he's showing me how to live a healthy lifestyle. Remember that part.
Okay.
A healthy lifestyle. So my time to change your story is changing your unhealthy lifestyle to a healthy lifestyle.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, I just had a vision of you having your own podcast where you're showing people how to have a healthy lifestyle.
See, I told you, she's amazing.
You're right. I am amazing. Thank you very much. No, thank you. So thank you, seriously, for being a great husband and friend and partner and being a great dad to our children and just all the things that you do, being here on the Ask Mrs. HR podcast, supporting me with the Diversity Dilemma book. And, oh, by the way, Mrs. HR in a Box is now on the Apple Store as an app. So one of my products is now an app that you will be able to. So go to Mrs. HR in a Box. Just go to the App Store or go to mrshrinabox.com. So I love you very much.
I love you too.
I know. I appreciate that. So we're not good with PDA and all that, but maybe we'll try to we'll hold each other, hold hands. We're like, I can't reach you to kiss you. Kisses.
I caught it.
Oh, goodness. Okay, let's try that again. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. So our next episode could be about Black love.
Okay.
So we got a history.
Yes, we do.
We have a history, and in our country, we have a history of Black love and, not really being able to express Black love in public, and we're kind of moving from that. And so maybe we could talk about that next time.
Sounds like
a plan. Talk about our relationship. Now, we have to have another podcast for that. Okay. Relationship podcast. Okay. So thank you. Great job. And I'm so grateful that you tuned in to see my husband and I you've learned more about us and continue to learn about us, because we are definitely on a journey. All that glitters is not gold. However, we make some pretty good, like diamonds and out of rubies and diamonds. Yeah. So I hope if you learn nothing else that you always can reinvent yourself. You can always change your story and you can always reinvent yourself. I mean, this podcast was a way for me to reinvent myself, to be more out front. And with that said, get ready for another episode of the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share with a friend, make sure you buy my book, The Diversity Dilemma, and go to my website, theláthatch.com and Mrs. HR in a Box. So if you don't know what to do, DM me, send me a message, but most of all, take care of yourself. And thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, bye.
Bye.